The Kethavar, a warship the size of a small moon, bristling with plasma cannons and cloaking arrays, dropped out of FTL directly above the human colony world of Meridian Prime. It was an entrance designed to intimidate. The Vorkai captain, Grethshan, had done it 1,000 times before. 1,000 colonies had trembled. 1,000 governors had begged. He expected the same here. What he did not expect was the single woman standing on the landing platform as his shuttle touched down, arms crossed, jaw set, eyes that looked like she had already decided how this conversation was going to end. Her name was Emma Vasquez, Lieutenant Commander, Meridian Planetary Defense Corps. 5'6", 140 pounds, and the only official representative the colony had sent to greet an alien warship carrying 40,000 soldiers. Grethshan descended the ramp with 6 of his Vorkai honor guard flanking him. They were enormous, 8 feet tall, covered in overlapping bone plates, with 4 arms and jaws that could snap a human spine like dry wood. They moved with the casual arrogance of apex predators who had never once been told no. Emma didn't move. "Human," Grethshan said through his translation collar, his voice a low vibration that rattled the platform beneath their feet. "You will surrender your colony's resource grid, your manufacturing centers, and 30% of your population for labor conscription. This is not a negotiation. This is notification." Emma tilted her head. You have one of your hours to comply." "I'm going to need you to hold that thought," Emma said. She raised one finger, and tapped the earpiece nestled in her left ear. "Jack, you copy." 300 meters below the platform, inside a reinforced command bunker carved into Meridian Prime's bedrock, Jack Harlow pulled up the tactical overlay on his console and cracked his knuckles. Jack was the kind of man that military recruiters described as a problem solver, and that everyone else described as terrifying when motivated. He had 17 years of combat experience across 4-star systems, 2 commendations for actions his superiors still couldn't officially acknowledge, and a scar running from his left ear to his collarbone that he refused to explain. He also had, in the last 6 hours, quietly armed every single one of Meridian Prime's deep core mining rigs with shaped antimatter charges. "Copy loud and clear, Commander," Jack said, leaning back in his chair. "I've got their ship on full sensor lock. 40,000 troops aboard. Shields running at 62%. They dropped them partially to save power during the FTL jump. Give me the word." On the platform above, Emma kept her eyes on Grethshan's face. "And the contingency packages?" she asked calmly, as if she were asking about the weather. "All 12 are active. The moment their ship moves to attack posture, we collapse the magnetic containment on the core rigs. The explosion will be significant." A pause. "Their shields won't hold." Emma nodded once, slowly, like a woman who had just confirmed a restaurant reservation. Grethshan's translator caught the words. He studied this small, soft human female and felt something he almost never felt anymore. Unease. "Who are you speaking to?" he demanded. Emma lowered her finger from her earpiece. "The man who has your ship targeted from below-ground installations your sensors can't detect, because we built them with Vorkai-proof dampening fields." She smiled pleasantly. "We've been expecting someone like you for about 3 years now." The 6 honor guards shifted their weight. Their bone plates clicked and rattled, a Vorkai sign of aggression building toward action. "You cannot threaten us," Grethshan said, and his voice carried the full weight of a species that had never once been made to back down. "We are Vorkai. We have consumed 40 civilizations. We burn the hate Ral to their last world. We do not." "Captain." Emma's voice was quiet. Not loud, not theatrical, just quiet in the way that very deep water is quiet, because nothing needs to announce how deep it is. "I'm going to say something to you, and I need you to listen very carefully." She took one step forward. One step toward 8-foot bone-armored killing machines, and not one of them stepped back, but not one of them stepped forward either. "You've dealt with civilizations that were afraid of dying," she said. "Species that valued survival above everything else. That's why your strategy works. You show up, you look scary, and the math is simple: comply or be destroyed. And they comply because they want to live." Grethshan's secondary eyes narrowed. "And you are different? We had a word for it once," Emma said. "We called it spite. It's the specific human capacity to accept complete destruction rather than allow an enemy to profit from our suffering. She paused. You won't conquer us, Captain. You'll either leave, or you'll win a crater. Silence on the platform. Wind moved across Meridian Prime's dusty plains. You're bluffing, Grethshawn said at last. But his voice had changed. Just slightly. The absolute certainty was fractured. Emma touched her earpiece again. Jack, tell him. Jack pulled up the tactical readout and opened a channel to the Vorkai ship directly, bypassing the captain entirely, broadcasting to their bridge crew. Attention, Kethavar, he said. This is Warrant Officer Jack Harlow, Meridian Planetary Defense. I am transmitting our targeting solutions to your navigation computers right now. Please check your threat board. On the Vorkai bridge, alarms began screaming. 12 separate targeting locks had appeared, all originating from below the planet's surface, positions that their sensors showed as empty ground. Their defensive AI was cycling through countermeasures and finding nothing. The locks were tight, clean, inescapable. Jack leaned into his microphone. Your shields are at 62%. The antimatter yield of our mining rigs, properly shaped and directed, exceeds your hull tolerance by a factor of 4. You have approximately 11 seconds of flight time before we can achieve optimal detonation geometry. He paused. I want to be honest with you. We don't want to do this. This planet has 200,000 people on it, and the explosion will kill most of them too. He let that sit for exactly 3 seconds. But they told us to arm the charges anyway. Every single one of them voted. It wasn't close. On the platform, Grethshawn stared at Emma. In 40 years of conquest, he had never once encountered this. Not defiance. He had seen defiance. He had burned defiance. This was something else. This was a species standing at the edge of the cliff and saying we already decided to jump. The only question is whether you come with us. Why? He said. And for the first time in 4 decades, the question was genuine. Not tactical. Not rhetorical. Genuine. Why would your people vote to die? Emma looked up at him with something that might have been patience or pity or something Vorkai biology had no word for. Because the 200,000 people who come after us won't have to, she said simply. That's how humans work, Captain. We play the long game. Grethshawn stood very still for a long time. Then, slowly, he turned to his honor guard and spoke a single word in Vorkai. Retreat. The Kethavar left Meridian Prime's orbit 17 minutes later. No shots fired. No terms agreed to. Just a warship of 40,000 soldiers quietly spinning up its FTL drive and leaving. Jack climbed up from the bunker, squinting in the afternoon sun. Emma was still standing on the platform, watching the contrail of the shuttle dissolving in the upper atmosphere. Think they'll be back? He asked. Emma considered this. They'll send a report first. Tell every other Vorkai captain what happened here. She picked up her jacket from the platform railing and shrugged it on. After that, no, I don't think they'll be back. Jack nodded slowly. You know, we were about 40 seconds from actually having to blow the charges. I know. The vote was real. Everyone really said yes. Emma glanced at him sideways, and there was something in her expression, not quite pride, not quite grief, but something that lived in the space between the two. Every single one, she said quietly. 200,000 people, Jack. And not one of them flinched. Jack was quiet for a moment. Then he exhaled, long and slow, and looked up at the sky where the Vorkai ship had been. Humanity, man, he said softly. We are something else. Emma almost smiled. Yeah, she said. We really are. In the Vorkai Conquest archives, the entry for Meridian Prime is 3 words long. Do not return.